Hey guys, this is Irene. So this video is just about, it's going to be short. I could make this a really long video, but I've just been like in a short video kind of mode this past week after my vacation. And this video is really dealing with the attack on the family. So I have talked about a lot of things on this channel. I've talked about feminism, I've talked about abortion, I've talked about homosexuality, I've talked about males who go their own way. I've talked about a lot of topics, and it could appear that I'm picking on any one topic, but there's something, there is a running theme in the things that I find to be inappropriate in the world, and there's a running theme in what these things all mean. I did an interview, and I will link it down below, and I touched on this in my interview. And that is that there is an attack on the family. There is an attack on healthy male and female roles. And when I see a movement or a behavior that supports this attack, I stand against it. And I think what people fail to realize is that the people in power, the ultra rich, they don't care what route you take to engage in the destruction of the familial structure. They don't care what avenue you take. They've created numerous avenues. As long as you take one of them, that's all they care about. So I want to talk about how these various things contribute to the destruction of the family. Having the cost of living so high that it requires two parents to work outside of the home means that the mother is not in the home as she would be traditionally, and it breaks down the familial structure. You have surrogate parents, teachers, not to knock teachers or anything, but you guys know that I privately educate at home. You have teachers, you have daycare workers. These are essentially paid mothers. Nannies, these are essentially paid mothers. This is something that life has actually taught me, because I remember I've tried using a nanny twice in my life. And one of my nannies, we had a really interesting experience with her. And that was that I came home and she had told my 3 and 4-year-old at the time, yeah, I think Elizabeth was 3, Lex was 4, because they vary between being 2 years apart and 1 year apart. Or maybe they were 4 and 5. I don't know. They were very young, and she told them that girls could marry girls in Washington. And it was at that moment that I recognized I had hired a surrogate mother, and that she was there all day with my children whenever I would go into the office, basically teaching them her ideology and her beliefs. And we also see that in school. The educators are there to teach the common ideology and beliefs of the persons in power. The same thing goes with, daycare. You're hiring a surrogate parent. So the value on motherhood is diminished. But clearly there's a value there, because when you have to hire people to do the job of the mother, that's a real job, right? It's just not real when a woman is doing it for her own children. There's also homosexuality, transgenderism, gender fluidity. I kind of lump all of those things together. Again, destroying the family nucleus, destroying healthy gender roles, denying gender altogether. Those things I really stand against. I think it's self-evident how two men copulating with each other, if you can call it that, I guess it's not really copulating, is it? Two women doing that, men who choose to move in the world as women, or vice versa, women who choose to move in the world as men. Gender fluidity, which is literally transforming the language and the verbiage of gender. And what that means, trying to separate sex and gender, and some trying to say that sex is something you can't determine. How that can affect healthy male-female relations and a healthy familial structure. Movements like feminism, where women are taught that they should be as promiscuous as men, that they should have the same demands on society as men. That they should be move in the world as men. confusing equal value as human beings with the desire to be equal in other ways with men. Again, upsetting the natural balance. A lot of them hate men even, are anti-man, view men in a negative light, just creating a division there between us and our counterparts. Women were designed for men, and so it's actually absurd that we would feel that we need to be at odds with them. We complement each other. We're not the same. We're complementary to each other. The males who go their own way movement, men that, and they're all over the place. They're a little less organized than the feminists, but they're kind of the male version of the feminists. Very negative view towards women on the whole. Very anti-family. Again, same thing with the feminists. They're anti-family too. You know, they feel it's oppressive for women to give birth, for women to nurse, for women to be in the home. Those are all forms of oppression to the feminists. Males that go their own way feel managing a household and taking care of a family is oppressive. They find women to be evil in the same way that feminists find, you know, men to be evil. And then in all of these movements, a general sense of dehumanization, right? Dehumanization is common. We can even include racism in this. Racism is an excellent chance for people to attack the family structure, because even if you build a healthy family, if you didn't build it with the right person, there's a problem. So it's just all of these lines in the sand that are designed to fragment the very fabric of society. And the fabric of society starts in the nuclear family. It starts in the home. That's undeniable. And so there is a heavy attack on the family and a heavy attack on healthy male-female relations. That is, it's very, very concerning to me. It really, truly is. I really worry about where we're going as a society, and the fact that the people involved in these activities seem not to recognize that they're simply pawns in a bigger war against the family. So these are just some thoughts that I have. This is not going to be a long video, but if you are interested in why I take the stances I do on some things and why I go so hard-lined on some issues, it is because I believe firmly that we must maintain a healthy familial structure, a healthy nuclear family to develop healthy people. And I see that there is a war against healthiness in individuals. There's a war against healthy gender roles. There's a war against womanhood. There's a war against manhood. There's a war against us producing healthy thinking children. There's a war on. All right? And I know a lot of people feel that my views are antiquated for the modern day. When I talk about healthy male and female gender roles, when I talk about female submission and male leadership, when I talk about an intact nuclear family being ideal, when I talk about chastity, a lot of people feel I'm being antiquated in my thinking. But I am telling you, we are looking at the result, and this mutilation where people are removing body parts or inverting their body parts so that they can be a different sex, where people are confused and there's hundreds of genders, where it's considered violent to address a person by what they are, where we have men that are shirking and hating being a man and equating that to some sort of male slavery or degradation. I can't say it. I can't do it. I can't say the word. To being degraded, or women who look at their wombs and look at nursing and look at children as something oppressive. When we see these movements happening, this is a result of not enough people having this healthy, antiquated thinking. These people are not healthier. These people are very confused, damaged individuals. Are we really going to let them take the lead? Somebody's got to stand up and say, you know what? We already had it right. And you people are going to destroy humanity. You confused, hurt, backward thinking people are going about the world and making a path of destruction in your path. And I just think that it is very important, and I say this about all topics, that reasonable people start to speak up and speak louder so that we can help to restore, or at least put up a good fight. Because they're putting up a fight. They will twist every wrong thing that's going on in the world because of them, because they are twisted people, because they are broken people. It is not us traditionalists who are causing the problems that these people complain about. It's people like them. But they will twist their self-perpetuated dramas and use them as a way to attack our healthy way of life. It's just some food for thought. I will talk to you guys a little bit later.